Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The concept of riba in Islam. So, in Islamic finance, riba refers to any unlawful gain in a financial transaction, as defined by Sharia law. It involves earning profit without effort or risk, often leading to exploitation. The Quran strictly forbids riba, as stated in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 275. Allah has permitted trade and forbidden riba. Classical scholars like Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Ash-Shafi'i agree that all types of riba are prohibited. Modern scholars such as Sheikh Taqi Usmani also confirm that interest on conventional bank loans is considered riba even if labeled differently. Classification of riba. Riba is divided into two types, which is riba al-fard and riba an-nasiyah. Riba al-fard is access in exchanging two similar ribawi goods that differ in weight, measure, or value. Such example, exchanging 1 kilogram of weight type A with 1.5 kilogram of weight type B, even if paid immediately, is riba al-fard due to the difference in quantity. But in riba an-nasiyah, increase in repayment as a condition for deferred payment of a debt. Common in loans where extra amount is charged if payment is delayed. For example, borrowing 1,000 and repaying 1,200 after 3 months. The extra 200 is a riba an-nasiyah because it is charged solely for the time extension without exchange of goods or service.
Implication of riba on the economic stability. First, riba can contribute to inflation. Riba will increase the cost of borrowing. These costs are passed on to consumers in the form of higher price of goods and services. Uncontrolled inflation reduces the purchasing power of the people. Reliance on the riba-based loans make the economy vulnerable to external shock, such as rising global interest rates and debt crises. Second, riba can widening the economic gap. Riba benefits the capitalists or lenders, while the borrowers, who are often poor, continue to be burdened. This causes wealth is concentrated in the hands of a few elites. The poor remain poor because a large portion of their income is used to pay interest. This inequality can lead to social tension and political instability. Thirdly, riba will promoting unproductive economic activity. Riba system encourages to investing in activities that promise financial return only without considering added value to society. High-risk financial speculation, such as trading in derivative and debt-based stocks, which can trigger financial crises, such as the 2008 subprime crisis. In addition, riba blocking the development of small and medium enterprise (SMEs). SMEs often face difficulties in obtaining financing because they cannot afford high interest rates and reluctance of financial institutions to provide loans without collateral. This stifles innovation, job creation, and inclusive economic growth. After that, riba causing a debt cycle that will burden the country. In a macroeconomic context, riba can causes the country pays high interest on its debt every year. National resources that should be used for development are used to pay off debts to international financial institutions, and this could lead to a fiscal crisis and loss of market confidence.
The first one is creating a wide social gap. The practice of riba has caused the social gap between the poor and the rich to widen. The rich or financial institution gain continuous profit through the interest charged on loan. On the other hand, the poor who are forced to borrow for their living needs will be burdened with repaying more than amount borrowed. For example, someone who borrow Rm 10,000 may have to repay Rm 30,000 after adding interest. This has caused wealth to only hover among the upper class, while the lower class continue to be oppressed. The bad effect is that society become unbalanced, there is satisfaction and can trigger social conflict. The second is creating an individualistic and careless society. The riba system creates an individualistic society that does not care about the fate of others. People only care about their own profit without thinking about the hardship incurred by the borrower. For example, banks continue to impose fine and interest even the borrower experience more misfortune such as losing a job or an accident. This situation will cause noble values such as kindness, empathy, and helping others each other to be increasingly or erode among society. The third is emotionally stressing individuals and families. The practice of riba has also had a profound emotional impact on borrower. This is said to be so because increasing debit due to high interest can cause mental stress and anxiety. Individuals who are burdened may experience sleep disturbance and depression. For example, a father who are burdened with a riba debit forced to work day and night, causing him to spend less time with his family. This will obviously cause family relationship to become strained. Argument arise. This negative impact will damage the family institution, which is the foundation for the formation of the stable society. The net is, apart from that, the practice of riba has also increased illegal and immoral activities. This effect is very worrying because the increase in illegal activities among the communities can affect the future for the communities. When someone is burdened with riba debit, they may take shortcuts to get money such as stealing or cheating. For example, an employee who has unable to pay riba loans may be forced to steal money from the company where he worked. This situation not only damages the morale of the individual but also affect the image of the community as a whole. The last one is riba can also damage social relationship and trust in society. Society that practice riba have caused noble qualities to disappear, such as the spirit of helping others. Relationship between human beings become materialistic and profit-oriented. For example, when someone borrow money from a friend but he charge interest, friendship can become strained because the borrower feel oppressed. In the long run, society become distrustful of each other, thus weakening social unity and harmony.
Today, I would like to share a brief explanation about Islamic economics. Islamic economics refer to a financial system that is based on Sharia principle, which aim to ensure justice, transparency, and social responsibility in all financial activities involved Muslims. One of the main difference between Islamic economy and the conventional system is its strong emphasis in ethics and morality. It ensures that wealth is distributed fairly and not hoarded or used safely, that that very transaction respect the value of the fairness and honesty. The system also integrates religion value with economic activities, creating a financial environment that avoids all elements prohibited in Islam. Uh, This includes riba, which means interest, gara or uncertainty in contract, and haram activity such as gambling, alcohol, and unethical investment. In this section, I will explain some of the key contracts used in Islamic economy as an alternative to riba or interest. This is strictly prohibited in Islam. The first contract is Mudarabah. Mudarabah is one of the main contracts in Islamic economy used as an alternative to the concept of interest in the conventional financial system. It is a profit sharing agreement between two parties, which is the capital provider and the entrepreneur. The capital provider offer asset while the entrepreneur contribute effort to manage the business. Profit are shared based on a pre-agreed revenue. However, if the business suffer a loss, it is borne solely by the capital provider unless it is caused by the entrepreneur's misconduct. Next is Musyarakah. Musyarakah is a form of business partnership in Islamic economy where two or more parties come together to contribute capital to a particular project or business activity. All parties share profit according to an agreed revenue and also share a loss based on their capital contribution. Unlike Mudharabah, where only one party provides capital, Musyarakah requires all partners to contribute capital and bear risk. Another widely used contract is murabaha. Murabaha is a sale contract in Islamic economy where the seller sells an item to the buyer at a cost price plus an agreed profit margin. In Islamic banking, the bank purchases the asset first and then sell it to the customer at a market price, usually with the installment or different payment option.
Next is Ijaro. Ijaro is defined as a contract to transfer the right to use or benefit of an asset from the owner to the tenant for a certain payment and within a specific period without involving the transfer of absolute ownership of the asset. Next is Salam. Salam contract refer to a sale and purchase contract where the buyer makes full payment at the beginning of the contract, while the delivery of the goods or product is made at a later date. And the last one is Istisna. Istisna contract is defined as a booking contract or a sale and purchase agreement between a buyer and a seller, where the seller agrees to make or complete an item according to the specification requested by the buyer within a certain period of time, and payment can be made in installment or after the goods are complete. The role of Islamic bank and financial institution in implementing riba-free alternative. First, first is provide Sharia-compliant financial product. The most important role for Islamic bank and financial institution is to provide Sharia-compliant financial product. This product need to be carefully structured to replace conventional loans that charge fixed interest, with transaction methods that are valid from a Sharia perspective. Second is encourage risk and profit sharing. In the conventional system, financial institutions only act as lenders who charge a fixed interest rate to customers without considering whether the project is profitable or not. This exposes customers to heavy risks on their own, while financial institutions continue to profit through usury. It creates imbalance and injustice in financial relationship. In the Islamic system, bank and customer work together in partnership, not a mere borrower-lender relationship. The last one is education and awareness. In an important role that Islamic bank and financial institutions need to play is in the aspect of education and increasing awareness of Islamic finance among the community. Without a clear understanding of the principle of Islamic finance, the community, especially Muslim, may not be able to distinguish between the conventional financial system based on usury and the Islamic financial system that usury free and ethical. It is the responsibility of Islamic financial institutions to educate, raise awareness, and guide consumers to be more knowledgeable about financial concepts and practices that are in line with Sharia. Islamic bank need to play a role and agency to disseminate Islamic financial knowledge through various mediums.
Now we go to the challenges of riba-free financial system. The first one is lack of awareness and education about Islamic finance among the public. One of the most pressing challenges is the general lack of understanding about Islamic finance, even among the Muslim. Many people are still unfamiliar with core concepts such as riba, gharar, maisir, and principles like profit and loss sharing. Because people tend to choose interest-based loans and products simply because they seem easier, more accessible, and normal. From the Islamic perspective, this is deeply concerning. The goal of Islamic finance is not just to avoid interest, but to promote justice, prevent exploitation, and ensure ethical financial dealings. Without proper education, people also fail to see the harmful effect of riba such as high debt burdens, inequality in wealth distribution, and long-term economic instability. The next is constraints in infrastructure and legislation that do not yet fully support the Islamic financial system comprehensively. Another major challenge lies in the inadequate legal frameworks and infrastructure that support Islamic finance. While countries like Malaysia have significant progress, many nations still lack clear Sharia-compliant regulation, efficient dispute resolution mechanism, and standard practice. Islamic financial institutions often face regulatory confusion, where Sharia laws overlap or contradict civil law. So there is also a lack of supportive system like Islamic credit ratings, halal investment database, and dedicated Sharia courts. This weakens competitive and reduce investor trust. Third is dominance of the conventional financial system within the global and local economic structure. The global financial system is largely driven by interest-based riba practice. Conventional banks, financial market, and institutions dominate the economy, shaping everything from national policies and to public education. This makes Islamic finance seem like a niche alternative rather than a viable mainstream option. Moreover, fiscal and monetary policies in many countries rely on interest-based instruments such as conventional bonds. This dominance makes it difficult to integrate the Islamic system and prevent it from gaining fair feasibility and acceptance. The last one is perception that the Islamic financial system does not offer competitive returns of profit like the conventional financial system. A widespread belief is that Islamic financial products are less profitable, too restrictive, or over-complex. Unlike the conventional system, where returns are fixed and predictable, Islamic finance emphasizes risk sharing, meaning profit or loss are shared based on actual business performance. This model, though more ethical, is often viewed as unstable or risky, leading many investors and business owners to prefer interest-based systems that offer guaranteed returns even if they are not Sharia compliant. That's all.
Conclusion: a comprehensive analysis of history shows clear difference between Islamic and conventional finance. While conventional finance prioritizes profit, Islamic finance emphasizes justice, fairness, and equality. Riba is strictly prohibited in the Quran and Hadith due to its harmful impact on economic stability and social justice. It creates imbalance and exploitation within society. Therefore, establishing a riba-free financial system is crucial for building a fair, ethical, and sustainable economy. Thank you.